societies wander together like hopeful drops of a virus. Citizen testaments bent on offering me a nation of breadwinners to hold me back like it's a Brinks. I wrinkle the concrete sometimes like flesh. My Martin Luther King permanence, turned away from a podium into the reeds like God is the dangerous twin. Black August to the mountaintop balcony on my bedroom floor, you know they steal you from the earth itself and suspend you on your broken neck from their foolish euphoria. From the loyalty off of their great superstition, as loyalty off of their agrarian reform, I return to my mother completely disrespected. For peeling the heat off of purgatory, they kill poets like me. Walk me away from my poems, never to be heard from again. In this final industrial complex of bloodlines picked over, picked through a sporting spiritual depth that your devil at least have made police become a pretty word. I'm reading a lynch mob shoestrings like they were teaching you how to write about cities. It's the 25th century in the mirror, people. Tyranny against your chump change, your attempt to be mocked even with a gun in your car. Cubit of needlework spelled tuned for the proletariat, the relapse ministry. Towns of people curled up in a fetal position next to a diamond dime. Just another service day in the theatrics of tea house fashion. Here goes the poet, killing without killing. Never mind this painting of your language. May I be a meaningful lynching. Crows passing, good and dead by the afternoon. I go to the railroad tracks and follow them to the station of my enemies. A cobalt-toothed man pitches pennies at my mugshot negative all over the United States. There are toddlers in the rock. And I see why everyone out here got the big cosmic basket and why blood greenness mean a lot and why I get shot back at. I understand the psycho-spiritual refusal to write white history or take the glass freeway.
Okay, so let's shift a little bit to talk about Mumia's case. It's a 40-plus year-long struggle for Mumia's freedom. Can you, this might be a lot, but can you give us some sort of summary or some high points or like major like significant transitions or breakthroughs in the case?
Yeah, and just so you know, I don't represent Mumia in the criminal case. Judy Ritter and Sam Spital represent him and are doing a great job. You know, to put it bluntly, you know, Mumia was framed. It was a street shooting where an officer ended up dead. Mumia ended up shot and in the emergency room and himself almost died. You know, there were 2 or 3 eyewitnesses to the shooting, which the state presented, and over the course of many years, the defense learned that their testimony was fabricated because they were promised benefits in exchange for testifying against Mumia. There was this guy, Chobert. He was on probation, and he was promised help on his probation. And most recently, it was learned that after Mumia was convicted, he wrote a letter to the DA saying, quote unquote, "What about my money?" And, you know, the lawyers found this. So that was, you know, Chobert, and there were 2 other civilians on the street. One woman, Veronica Jones, didn't identify Mumia at trial, and after the trial, this other woman, Cynthia White, did. But Veronica Jones testified at a post-conviction hearing that the police told her, look, and Veronica Jones didn't identify him, saw men running, and it was like, well, you know, if you change your story and say that and identify him, we can do this for you, and this for you, and this for you. And the police told her they made the same offer to Cynthia White. So this was all suppressed from the defense. And there's also an issue about the systematic exclusion of black people from the jury, which was a big issue in his case. And we could go on for hours about the intricacies in his case. Essentially, He brought several petitions for a new trial in Philadelphia. The first one before Judge Sabo, who sentenced him to death and was never going to give him a fair hearing, and they were denied. About 4 or 5 years ago now, I think it would be, there was a Supreme Court case that he tried to take advantage of, this Williams case, about whether a judge could be a DA and still hear the appeals. But he went to court on that claim, and during the course of those proceedings, the DA disclosed that they had just found 26 bankers' boxes of material on his case.
Yep.
And Judy and Sam, his two lawyers, went through all of those boxes, and they were the ones that found the letter from the witness about where's my money and some other stuff. They also found notes by the trial prosecutor making a record of the race of jurors to support the Batson, what's called the Batson claim. There was a petition. By this time it was turned over to Judge Clemens, and she denied the motion for a new trial without even a hearing.
Yeah.
Not even putting Chobert on the stand to say, what did you mean by give me the money? If you were the judge, wouldn't you want to at least hear from him? Even if he lies about it. I mean, but she refused to do that. She denied him a new trial, and currently that decision is on appeal.
Yeah.
And so they're prosecuting that appeal. One of the difficulties in the Mumia case is that people, if you're not closely involved like I am, you can kind of get exhausted by all of these facts. And you know, when you're talking to friends just in the movement and you're not a lawyer and you try to explain why this man needs a trial, it's like an encyclopedia.
Yeah, it's complex.
And it's complex.
Very complex.
But the bottom line is, they framed this man.
Yeah, we can go to the left. Picture?
Yeah, I'm looking for it. I see his brothers. Huh?
Oh, yeah, I see it. Yep.
Please, bro.
We just out here from New York. We're About the People podcast, as well as Spreading Mandela. And we're really trying to just change the narrative, right, with our political prisoners, our prisoners of wars, and people of color, right, and poor people at the bottom, really, that it's not a lot of hate out here and it's not a lot of nonsense. It's really media that portrays this, and media that constantly push this in our brain, and now we start believing the shit, and it's not really true. So that's why we got to get out here.
Until you look into it yourself.
Yeah, get out here to the community and actually see the people that really know Mumia. Blessings and free to land. We out here in the city of brotherly love to celebrate Mumia Abu-Jamal's birthday, 60th birthday.
Mumia! Bring him on! Mumia! Bring him on!
No peace!
Peace.
Mumia Abu-Jamal's release from justice! No peace! Till 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 Mumia Abu-Jamal's release from justice!
Assistance. And because Mumia spoke out for those people, he became a target of COINTELPRO, a federal counterinsurgency program that was geared to destroy black, brown, Caucasian resistance in this country. And they targeted the organizations for destruction, they targeted the leaders for destruction and for assassination. And so many people succumbed to this COINTELPRO program. And Mumia Abu-Jamal was targeted as a youth in the Black Panther Party right here in Philadelphia, because they seen the power of his voice. This is way before he became the voice of the voiceless as we know him to be today.
Prisons are now universal, and here in the United States, it's an industry. It's a whole profitable industry. Israel itself is a highly militarized prison state where half of the population, the entire indigenous population, lives under military occupation. And so with these prisons everywhere, you might be tempted to think that it's a normal thing because every country has it, but it's not.
They want to keep this system going to promote them. But they are not us. The them, they are not us. We don't benefit from this system, which is why some bridges need to be burned. And for all of us out here, I'd love for us to be the ones to pour the gasoline, light the fire to burn that bridge down, and allow the fire that blazed from it to be the light for the other people coming behind us.
That's right.
Mumia Abu-Jamal has thrown many matches, burning bridges of injustice through his journalism, explaining and speaking about injustice and exposing injustice.
To me, he was a nice guy.
He was down to earth. He was down to earth person.
He told you just like
he was our class president at start of class, our junior high. Right. When we graduated from there in '68, and he gave us direction. He was very vocal.
How was that? Him as class president.
Oh, he was good. He was.
So what you're saying is that Philly really has love for Mumia.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. It's just
a myth.
It's yes they do. Yes they do. It's the system that putting it out there. Yes.
And so they run with that on the mainstream, and it continues to be cop killer.
Yeah.
And you would
Yeah. To switch that. We here to switch that. That's why we have these. We here to change the narrative and let people know that the people in Philly love Mumia. We definitely want to go inside Mumia's old apartment, check it around, and look around inside there.
I don't know. Yeah, I know.
Yeah,
we spoke to them.
Yeah, we spoke to them.
Oh, okay.
And we really just trying to get a feeling of the community that Mumia actually grew up around. Because the stigma is that he's a cop killer, people don't really like him, he's hated. And especially us in New York, we want to change that narrative that's false, right? People love Mumia, the community loves Mumia. And
it's just, like I say, it's the white people downtown.
Yeah, of course.
And the system that they set up, the system that they don't like that we're not going to go by, and that's what it is. Yeah. And why they got the upper hands? What can you do? The country's changing. We're going to be dead going before it's browning like they're trying to prolong it. The country's changing.
Triplets, a surviving triplet, and I had a set of twins, boy-girl twins. That's why I say energy. This is why I said something is going on. So, like, whoever was here, we are connected some type of way, like the energy.
Wow.
Yeah.
The purpose of Love Not Fear is to encourage people to spread love and challenge fear. If we're talking about love, and there's a love statue, a love monument across the street, and it's called Love Park. You know, we're in Philadelphia. This is the birthplace of liberty and all of this kind of stuff. Well, if we're practicing love, then Mumia Abu-Jamal is not in prison. Right. So we need to spread that love that we say we're about, and we need to challenge the fear that causes people to put Mumia Abu-Jamal in prison. There's only fear that does that, because they want to uphold their racism, because they want to protect each other with this police blue line and all of this kind of stuff. But that's fear. They fear that black people is going to take over and cause a problem, blah, blah, blah. They actually are projecting onto us what they've done to us, and they fear, you know, that at some point we may do to them what they did to us. And we ain't talking about revenge. We're just talking about equality.
Isn't that crazy?
And if we do start talking about revenge, you know,
that's a whole nother conversation.
So we just, you know, so we spreading love and challenging fear.
40 years, y'all. 40 years. If you've never heard of him, his name is Mumia Abu-Jamal. He was put in prison by the racist system.
Yes, sir.
Frank Rizzo, who was a racist mayor in the city of Philadelphia, framed and put Mumia in prison for a crime that everybody know he did not commit. And we out here today to say that we trying to free Mumia. He's been in prison for 40 years unjustly. For the last couple years, the whole country has been in this so-called positive change and progressive state since the murder of George Floyd and Breonna Taylor and so many others. They pretend that they want to make a change for the better for the people in this country, for black lives. But actually, there's a lot of black lives that are still in prison because of this injustice in this country. And we out here today to say that one of those people is right here in the city of Philadelphia. And his name is Mumia Abu-Jamal.
Yes, sir.
Just because he wore dreadlocks, just because he supported the MOVE organization, just because he told the truth, just because he spoke when they told him to shut up, Mumia Abu-Jamal has been a target.
Yep.
But we are here, and we are here to fight for the freedom of Mumia Abu-Jamal. Just like we fight for the freedom of anybody else that speak out about the injustices in the country. And you gotta understand that today, July 3rd, tomorrow is Independence Day, the same way that George Washington and all of those freedom fighters from hundreds of years ago supposedly fought for the country for freedom against the British. That's the same way we out here fighting in the country against the injustice of the country of the United States of America. And we ain't here to cause no disturbance other than the fact that we out here to say free Mumia Abu-Jamal.
Yes, sir.
We want you to enjoy yourself, but if you can't enjoy it, if you cannot align with us in freedom, then it ain't gonna be no peace. There ain't gonna be no peace, because if there ain't no justice, there's no peace. No justice, no peace. No justice,
No peace.
no justice,
No peace.
no justice.
No peace.
Resisting Cop City is really state terror. It has to be called out. Call them by their names.
What can you do to help bring Mumia home? You can host a screening of one of the great films on Mumia. Like Long Distance Revolutionary or Justice on Trial. These serve as great resources for PE and can work well, whether in person, remote, or hybrid. Film links can be found on our Linktree. And if you have any questions about screenings or run into any issues, feel free to hit us up at aboutthepeople1312@gmail.com. You can also add your voice to the Love Not Fear video challenge.
Wanted to make this post to let folks know how important the freedom of Mumia Abu-Jamal is.
Mumia is a beautiful person, a beautiful gift to us here on Turtle Island.
Whose courage and strength is larger than the largest giant and wider than the ocean. You, Mumia,
has been a rock in the struggle for people's liberation worldwide as he expresses his love for the people.
Mumia Abu-Jamal, you answered the call. You spoke and wrote for us all, so we could breathe.
What Mumia Abu-Jamal means to me is consciousness, is freedom.
Mumia, we love you. Thank you for always being a voice of truth, power, and justice.
And of course, you can show Mumia some love by sending a letter inside. Letters should be addressed to Smart Communications /PADOC, Mumia Abu-Jamal, AM 8335, SCI, Mahanoy, C/O, P.O. Box 33028, St. Petersburg, FL 33733. The letters are scanned and digitized, not delivered directly. More info on this can be found in the Linktree. Please reach out with any questions or thoughts you may have on any of these action items at aboutthepeople1312@gmail.com. More info on all of this at linktree/aboutthepeople. The U.S. corporate government remains guilty of ongoing genocides. Want to build alternative, counter-genocidal modes of governing ourselves? Connect with us in building the People's Senate. You can find out more at spiritofmandela.org/peoples-senate, and you can email peoplesenate@spiritofmandela.org for more info. We are our own liberators.